Welcome everybody to the Mark Lee Siegel Theatre Center here at the Graduate Center CUNY. It's a pleasure and honor for me to welcome you all. Thank you for coming out on such a beautiful day, actually, in New York City, and a nice summer day. It's important to have great theater, but it's also important to have a great audience, and interested and curious and informed one. So thank you for coming. My name is Frank Hentschker. I'm the director of the Siegel Theatre Center here at the Graduate Center CUNY, and we do bridge academia and professional theater, international and American theater, as you could see from our silent movie, which we showed you up front, our propaganda. We really do present art from all around the world, playwrights, writers, and it's one of our missions, in collaboration often with PEN and PEN World Voices, to really hear voices from all around the world. And this is a special event tonight. Not only it's the season finale, like Westworld or something, this is like the end of it. So we always take great care of the first and last event. As someone said, Bob Wilson, who I worked for, said, if you do theater, do something really great in the beginning, something great in the end. In between, keep it mysterious. If you don't know what you're doing, people will forgive you. But it has to be a good end and a very good beginning, and he is very right. So this is a brilliant end, and not only because of the writers we have here from Taiwan and the Bright Voices event that is happening everywhere, so also the fact that the Taiwanese government is behind this. As far as I know, it's the first government in Asia, from all Asian countries, to support and legalize gay marriage, and it's a very big development for the entire world, but also especially for all Asian countries. And if we understand right, this is the very first event actually that somehow also is supported with the posters and the events in here, and I think it's a fantastic sign, not only for Taiwan, for Asia, but I think also for the world, that we hear all the voices and all minorities from every side and everywhere. So it stands for something much, much bigger, and it's a great honor for us to host it. So we have with us here the two artists from Taiwan who flew in all the way. It's 15, 16, 17 hours, as you know better. So Pao-Chang, who's here. So thank you for coming. And Li-Ying, thank you. And also the artists who are part of the film. And I don't know if the directors are here. Hold up your hands who do come see. There are also additional film events you should be going. We have James Wilson here from the Graduate Center as a professor of theater, and Zhuzhun here from the Complete Department, and Dennis, theater director, who's part of the Living Theater, to join us in the discussion. I really would like to thank Chi-Ping Yan from the Taipei Cultural Center here in New York, and the Ministry of Culture Taiwan, who supported us. Where is she? Here, so thank you. She, together with Yu Chen Liu here from the Siegel Theatre Center, co-created this, I think, brilliant event, and put together the readings with the director, especially also for the second one. And the Taipei Cultural Center in New York is an overseas branch of the Ministry of Culture Taiwan, and focus on working with professional organizations, that we are happy we are included in this, to promote Taiwanese art and culture in the US and build mutual understanding through various arts and cultural activities. The director here is with us, Bill Chan. Bill, here he is. And yesterday we had also the pleasure to meet Ambassador Li Shu, if I say it right, who also is a great supporter of the project, and it shouldn't be taken for granted by anyone. So it's a big, big honor, and again, thank you all for coming. If you have a cell phone, so take it out now, and I'll do the same. And it should be off on silent, or so let's take a moment. Where is it? Okay. The last time I did it, I actually switched it on. I wanted to show it, and then it rang. That was very embarrassing. We also have a little audience form, I think, for everybody involved here who organized it. It might be important if you can fill it out. There's a little basket on the way out. You know, if you have the time, that would be nice to do. And we all would like to invite you for a celebration. Around the corner is an archive bar on 36th Street towards Madison Avenue on the right side, on the south. And hopefully you will be able to join us with the artists and everybody, and to really, which I would call a historic day to celebrate what we are going to see now. So now I'm going to hand it over to Yu Chien, Liu, and she will give us a very, very short intro, a little bit about the arts and culture and theater in Taiwan. It had to be much longer normally, could be an evening on itself, but I asked her to be super brief. But thank you for preparing this, and then we do the readings. Thank you.
Welcome again to the Martin Segal Theater Center. I'm so glad to see this outcome. It meant a lot for me. My name is Yu Chien Liu. I'm a producer here at the Segal Center. I co-curate and produce this event with Jiping at the Taipei Cultural Center. So I'm originally from Taiwan. It meant a lot, and I feel very important to me to share the arts back home with the US audience. And also, I feel it's very important for you to know the context before you watch the readings. So let's get started, Katie. So first, let's fly 15 hours back to Taiwan. And next, so this is how the country looks like. The 5 dots on your left are the 5 major cities in Taiwan, and you will see those names again later in the slideshow. Very traditional from the setup on the stage, also their outfit. And these two music are styles of Chinese classical music originated in the southern China. And then we will take a very big jump to the time after World War II. So next. So that's the time where Taiwanese people start developing their original art. So we have Taiwanese opera and gulf puppetry. So these two types of arts, they are very entertaining and commercial. So because of its, the plot can be very flexible. So instead of telling story from a historical aspect, they can tell something that you will see now on television, like soap opera. And then we, next one. So in 1980, we have the first experimental theater established. It's called the Lanling Theater Workshop. So it's the first avant-garde theater in Taiwan, and they are highly influenced by US theater. The founder, Dr. Wu Jingji, he actually studied here. He didn't study theater though, but he watched a lot of performance in space like La Mama and highly influenced, and he brought those methods back to Taiwan. And the founding members, they adapt those Western methods with the traditional Chinese and Taiwanese theater, and that's how the contemporary theater scene in Taiwan starts. And many of those founding members, including Wu Jingji, Jin Shijie, Li Guoxiu, they are still very active members in Taiwan. Then next one. And here you can see more pictures. And I believe many audience members, if you are from Taiwan, you can recognize many of the faces. So next. So then we go to 1990s. This is a time we called post-martial law period. There's a lot of social movement going on. So at this time, theater is, like street theater is a form for activists as a way for them to express their voice. And also the society gave the artists and people more freedom for them to create their own art. So this is really the time for them to develop their own style. So you will see the youth theater on your left. They incorporate Zen with drumming. And also during this time, there's many texts are adapted by contemporary Taiwanese literature. And then we're going next. So from 2000s to present. So now I will show you many stills from some of the notable companies. So the first one you will see on the middle bottom. You will see the still from Taiwan, Tainan Ensemble, where Pao served as artistic director for 10 years, almost 10 years, right? And so then you will see next slide. The middle top part, actually that's a still from the second reading you will see. That's Li-Ying's piece put together by Four Chairs Theater. So you will see like those pictures, their style and their staging, and maybe the one is actually on like Salt Mountain. It's not even in the theater space. The themes are also very diverse, and the reason behind that is because the theater during this period are highly influenced or interacted with other Chinese-speaking countries in Asia. So if we see next slide, so there are 1.2 billion people who can speak Chinese, and that's about 20% of the world population. And many of those area countries are in Asia, and so for places like mainland China, Hong Kong, Macau, Singapore, Malaysia, and except mainland China, Taiwan has many and close interaction and relationship with other areas because of the cultural and political orientation. And this kind of mobility is really what makes Taiwan theater distinguished from the theater in mainland China, but even both spaces use mainly Mandarin to create their work. And so I have a brief conversation with the playwrights the other day. They also mentioned that actually many people from Macau, Singapore, or Malaysia, they come to Taiwan for work or for study. They end up staying here, or vice versa. So this kind of exchange really brings different aspects and different viewpoint to the theater in Taiwan. And then if you want to see more like current contemporary theater scene in Taiwan, of course you will see that from the reading, the reading later. Also this Friday, one of the reading, Li-Ying's The Possible Memoirs of a Traitor. The full show will be screened at the Taipei Cultural Center at 6:30. And next, I want to show you some theater spaces in Taiwan. So first, I'm going to show you spaces on the national level. So I'm going to show you three. They are both funded and managed by central government. So we have this in Taipei, next one in Taichung, and the exterior is designed by the very famous Japanese architect. And then the third one is this one in Kaohsiung. And then later, next we will see some other private run theater. So next. So we have, I'm going to just show you a little bit, and the reason why I chose them just simply because I used to go there when I was still based in Taipei. So we have Cloud Gate Theater, Guilin Street Avant-Garde Theater. Next, we have Huashan Creative Park and Wenshan Theater. It's actually a community center. And also Zhongshan Ho and Crown Arts Center Theater. And unfortunately, they closed business because they cannot keep the current regulation as a theater. So those are the venues. And then the next thing I want to tell you is about how common or how theater going as a leisure activity for Taiwanese people. So we spend about like 25 billion in total per year on all the cultural and creative industry. And then under them, performing arts industry makes up $566 million. And next. So we only have about like 23 million population. Here in the States, you guys, like, not you guys, but like here they have 325 million. So just so you know the difference. But the cultural events Taiwan put up every year is more than 60,000. And then the cultural event attendance per year is over 27 million. So basically, after you do the math, it's very common for Taiwanese people to see a theater or go to a cultural event every month, and then they don't mind to spend a little bit on the ticket. And then next one. So that's a really brief overview. If you have more questions, definitely bring them up during the panel. And now I'd like to introduce you to our first playwright of the day, Pao-Chang, and he's going to take the stage and perform to you sololy. Thank you.
心中着爱专心想你想要看到迄个人哦，可能会有别人挖过来向你讲话，若是小鬼你着爱注意哈，无你的魂魄是放留伫阴间哦。我是要安怎知影伊是毋是小鬼啊？你着出问题甲问啊，即个问题的答案只有你甲伊知影，安尼敢有了解？有。敢有看到？无呢，啥物拢无看到啊？感觉一下，我手摸的即个所在，看即点，敢有看到光线？无呢，啥物光线？有一点亲像是透早拄起床的时阵咧看日出，黑暗的地平线微微亲像一束粒光线浮起。专注伫我手摸的即个所在，敢有看到？像个有，敢若亲像无呢？我无啥确定啦。你著目睭来放互客客啊你！目睭放互客客，才会当看见。
This morning, the police found another suicide at Hent, United Kingdom. Sandra Mormon, 43 years old, is suspected of ending her life after breaking up with her AI assistant, Owen Andrews. According to the latest report, she shot herself around 8 p.m. after her last conversation with Owen. According to the police, this is the ninth suicide for love within a month. Owen seems to have an affair with Amanda Sony, based in Berlin. Due to the difficulty of tracing Owen Andrews, the MI5 is considering blocking international AI partners on these to prevent more tragedies. The Department of Health encourages citizens to have a real connection with real human beings. Matchmaking parties will be held at the end of this month at City Hall. Breaking news. Early this morning, Air France flight FR13 from London to Paris crashed, killing all 149 passengers on board. Air France is trying to contact the families of the victims.
Oh, pardonnez-moi, monsieur, je ne savais pas que vous faisiez juste la douche.
Angela, vous n'avez pas respecté notre accord.
J'en suis conscient, monsieur, mais c'est important.
What's so important? Oh, and didn't I tell you that? When Mr. Mina is away, you can always talk to me in English or Chinese. Don't you remember?
I'll keep that in mind, sir.
I just don't understand, right? Why he's so obsessed with touring? I mean, interacting with real people. Live. Sounds so 2020s, don't you think?
Sir, are you ready for the news?
Look at you. All serious. You had better be important. I need to get ready for an interview. What is it?
Mr. Alain Minard was on the flight from London to Paris and has been confirmed to be among the dead. The police are searching for the bodies of the victims.
Wait. Angela, Alton is touring to Asia, flying through Singapore. What are you talking about? Paris? There must be some mistakes. Why don't you call Mr. Mina for me, please?
Sir,
Now! Please. Call him, please.
I'm deeply sorry, sir. So far, we haven't heard anything about Mr. Minard's body. Would you like me to continue?
Just call him. Please, please.
Sir, I would like to make sure if you're feeling all right. Would you like me to cancel your meeting? Good evening, sir. You have a new message.
我现在没有心情。
那你要我何时再通知您呢？1小时后、明天还是其他时间？
都没有差。
其实有差哦，因为您的优先订单已经抵达，然后您有特别指示，当货品抵达时要第一时间通知您。
已经到了。我要怎么启动它？
所以你想看这个货品吗？
我刚才不是已经讲了吗？到底有没有在听啊？有点心好不好？拜托你 ，Angela。
我只想要确定您的情绪是否在一个稳定的状态。
Angela， 有屁快放！
您的心跳每分钟超过122次，已经超过一般正常范围，也为您搜寻合适的药物。
Angela, stop! I have no time for this bullshit, okay? Show me Alton, please.
If you insist, sir. However, may I remind you, he's not Alton. It's just a machine. Here are the instructions before you activate it.
Well, simplify for me, please. You know what? As a woman, you're pretty good at getting to the point.
I'll take that as a compliment, sir.
Why do you think I chose a woman as my personal assistant in the first place?
Because guys distract you too much.
I'll take that as a compliment too. So, you've transferred all the info from Alton to that machine, haven't you?
Everything but an encrypted folder authorized only by Mr. Minach.
A folder? What's in it?
It wouldn't be called encrypted if I know what's in it.
Fair enough. I'll respect Alton's privacy. You know what? Lower the percentage of your passive aggressiveness. Oh, and the condescendence index right now.
Revision complete. One last thing, sir.
What?
Since you requested for the highest level of personal assistant, you might need time to adjust its involvement in your life.
If it's exactly like Alton, I think I'll be fine. Now, activate it, please. Bonsoir, monsieur. Vous êtes très beau, monsieur. Alain? Oui, c'est moi, monsieur. Ne me parlez pas comme ça. Mais comment voulez-vous que je parle? Comme tu le fais toujours. D'accord. Coucou mon amour.
Coucou. Coucou. Comment vas-tu?
Je vais bien, chérie. Et toi?
Je vais bien. Très bien même. Je ne pourrais pas aller mieux.
Ah, 甘霖老师，你跟我安装。
Et depuis quand tu parles le taïwanais? Ah oui, bien sûr. Tu n'es que...
Est-ce que ça fait mal? Ne pleure pas.
Tu me manques.
Toi aussi, tu me manques.
Où es-tu?
Je suis là.
Vraiment?
Oui, je suis là. Oh, c'est mon pieu préféré.
Oui. Je l'ai acheté à Nice. Ton anniversaire?
Mais il a vraiment beaucoup rétréci.
Mais tu as pris du poids aussi. Je n'aurais pas dû le laver. Alain, était-ce douloureux?
Que veux-tu dire?
L'accident. Était-ce douloureux?
Demain, je te réveillerai pour mon enterrement. I don't think I can talk about your funeral right now. With you. It's written on your diary. Do you want me to leave?
No, please. Stay. S'il te plaît.
D'accord. Que veux-tu que je porte demain? Ce que tu veux. Lequel est ton préféré? Ai-je un préféré? Oui. Tu en as un? As-tu oublié? J'aime tout ce que tu portes. Lequel? Sérieusement, j'aime tout ce que tu... Tu n'es pas Alain! Alain savait toujours. Qui diable es-tu? Porte ce que tu veux, sauf le pantalon vert. Oh, mon Dieu! Je n'avais pas vu ces photos depuis des années. Nous étions si jeunes et heureux. Te rappelles-tu de ce que ma mère t'a dit quand tu t'as vu la première fois? Comment je pourrais oublier? J'ai des amis qui vivent dans le mar. Elle est adorable. Et des suspects. Oui. Tu sais que tu es la première personne que j'ai jamais préférée à part familia. Non. Je ne le savais pas. Le bon vieux temps, n'est-ce pas? Ouais. Je suis désolé. Pourquoi? Je ne voulais pas douter de toi. Je ne comprends pas. Nous avons su ces disputes avant ton voyage. Sur quoi? Pourquoi es-tu loin alors que notre anniversaire arrive bientôt? Tu parles beaucoup en déplacement. Pourquoi ne pourrais-je pas t'accompagner? Je n'arrive pas à croire que notre dernière conversation eût été désagréable. Je suis vraiment stupide! Hey, je suis Sissi. Je suis ton Alain. Je t'aime. Tu te rappelles? Can I ask you something? Don't you know everything about me? I don't know. I mean, you seem so much like him, but you're not him. I'm the closest result you could get towards Alan. I'll never say I love you. Never. Sorry for the mistake. It will never happen again. What's in that folder? I'm sorry? The encrypted folder. What's in it? It's personal. Yeah, I know it's personal, but you can decrypt it, right? Because technically, you're him, aren't you? Well, I'm not him anymore. What the Look, I want you to transfer all the info from that folder to Alan right now. I'm afraid it's against disease will. I'm sure it's okay. We've been together for 9 years. We talked about everything. Well, obviously. Hey, what is that supposed to mean? Just being honest. I really dislike your hair and your accent. Anyway, human couples don't talk about everything, okay? It's normal. I can see that. Stop changing your look! Why can't you simply do whatever I ask you to do? Why are you so eager to invade Alan's privacy? Because I'm fucking missing him, okay? I want him back. not just some semi-finished product which says something he will never say. You get it? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to shout at you. I'm sorry. I apologize. Sorry.
Please sign a contract for taking the full responsibility of the consequences. Good luck, sir.
Uh, 173 centimeters. 77 kilos. So wait, 73. Yeah, that sounds better, yes. Brown eyes, black hair. Asian. Taiwanese living in London. Wait! One at a time, please. I'm into twins, jocks. Some daddies are hot. Between 30s and 45, I can't really talk to young people anymore. What's next? I don't care. All right, is it a multiple choice question? All right, type A, thank you. Scorpio or Gemini, I don't really care about career. Oh, for God's sake, does that matter? There are subtitles. 500 meters, please. I'm looking for men. Am I not obvious to you? I am sorry. I am very open-minded. Well, all right, whatever. Okay. System, let's talk to Rutter first. Hello, how are you? Upload photo, thank you. Not much, just look around. You? Well, fair enough. I'm Asian, what do you think? Look, I hope you don't mind if I ask you something. Top. So, why Asian are supposed to be bottomed? Whatever, do you know someone named Alamina? No, I don't have dick pics, okay? So, wait, what? What? Seriously? System, let's talk to Deepa and upload photo first, thank you. Hi, how are you? Not much, just looking around. I hope you don't mind if I ask you something. Oh, that's nice, but no, thank you. No, not really. System, upload Alan's photo, please. You know him? In your place? He's dead. So, wait, no, please, shit. Oh, fuck. Well, system, log me out and log in as Alamina, please.
Sir, are you sure you're going to do this?
Why not?
It's not moral.
Are we talking about morality here? Isn't it funny? Look, I don't know why I want to know, but I don't know.
Are you jealous of these men?
It's none of your business, okay? Look, I really need to do this. Please.
Good luck, sir.
Oui. Je vais bien, merci à toi. How do you think of me? I have a lover. Did I ever tell you that? I am okay. I'm sorry. I'm just too much stress. Well, not very well, and need more time. It's not easy, you know. No, he's been very considerate. I mean, he should have told me about you. I should have talked about you. Remind me again, how did I describe my partner? That's it? Nothing more? Well, fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you! Vous ne pouvez pas dormir? You scared me. Sorry. What bothers you? Nothing. Such a bad liar. Oh yeah, not as good as you are, obviously. What do you mean? Nothing. Can we stop this nothing game? Stefan! Ring the bell? I guess we're doing this right now, huh? Why not? You planned to have this conversation anyway. Yes, I've been seeing Stefan for 2 years. He lives in Berlin. We first met at a gig in London. He's a vocalist. Do you love him? Oh, wow, I guess that pause said it all. You're being too dramatic. You ruined it, admit it. That's not fair, Nian. I'm afraid I cannot agree with you. What are you doing? Over the past 3 years, you've sent messages to 576 men, 1,211 contains photos, 143 of them with nudity. The rate of a verbal agreement for hookups reached 23%. According to your sex archive, you even met Stefan 1 time. Have I? I don't make mistakes. Anyway! I can't even believe you got into my private data? You chose to activate the highest level of the trust between us. That's how I know all your accounts and passwords and so on. Besides, you invaded my privacy first. Your privacy? Your privacy? You know what? This is getting ridiculous. Having sex with men you don't even know the names isn't ridiculous? Are we doing this again? Why are you so obsessed with names? None of them is going to be your friend. You do know that, right? Who said that I need friends? You need real affection. Oh, don't lecture me. Besides, what do you know about real then? Oh, right, I forgot that you are just a machine. You are the one who is programmed to be a sex machine. Isn't that what open relationship is all about? Then why are you making such a fuss about Stefan? Because I don't fucking love any of those men, okay? They are just sex, but you love Stefan. I can feel that. And that hurts me. That doesn't make you any better than me, Nian. You think me watching you having anonymous sex with men doesn't hurt? Please stop it. Why don't you believe I'm capable of loving more than one person at the same time? Please stop it. I know you couldn't take it. That's why I didn't tell you about Stefan. Nian, there are different forms of love. We shouldn't have to be exclusive. I'll leave you to it. Alain, why we are so unhappy? Isn't being with someone you love supposed to be happy? We're never happy. We can never be happy. We only want to be happy. Do you know how much I miss you? Hey, I'm here. Holding your hands. No, you are not. You are not. I'm rubbing your hands with mine. Can you feel it? No. No, I can't. Oh, I can't do this anymore. I can't. I really, I can't. Don't be afraid. Close your eyes. Lay your head in my arms. Are you closing your eyes? Can you feel me? I don't know. I'm not sure. Your hands are getting warmer, aren't they? Yes. They are. I'm kissing your forehead, your cheek, your neck.
Excerpt 1, Prologue, Documentary Screening. All actors are on stage. The actor playing Junfan comes downstage.
Everything about my documentary started with Mommy's diary. I decided to make a documentary about my family and thought of my uncle, Fong Yao Kai, Uncle Kai. He was so handsome. And we were each other's favorites. He always bought me Coca-Cola. That Uncle Kai was gay was an open secret in our family, and we didn't need to talk about it. Grandpa and Grandma adored him and made it clear that they would be leaving him the family home because he won't ever get married. But one year, he just stopped coming home. This was when I was in junior high. One day, I came home from cram school and heard my grandma yelling loudly into the phone. She saw me and slammed the door shut, cutting off my eavesdropping. The thing is, I know more than any of them. The second year since Uncle Kai stopped coming home, I stayed after school to study. My classmates handed me a package, a diary, and a short note. The note just said, "Keep this safe for me." I knew that Uncle Kai came to my school and left. That was the diary of Mommy. Who was that? Mommy was my uncle's boyfriend back then. The diary recorded their relationship from the beginning to the end. I kept thinking, was Mommy the reason why Uncle Kai left? Mommy was HIV positive. So that my uncle was gay was just about acceptable, but him dating an HIV positive guy was too much.
As Junfan speaks, she picks up the camera.
Armed with the contact pages in the back of the diary, I started cold calling people, one after another. Most of them were no longer reachable, but of those I could find, most agreed to be interviewed. Thanks to them, this documentary was able to come together. In the process, I've been trying to answer this question. Why would you want to document this particular story? Why did my uncle suddenly break up with Mommy?
Excerpt 2, Interlude, The Ones Not in Contact.
Why do you want to do it? A few of those people asked me that. Some of them said that they didn't know Mommy and Kai and didn't understand why their contact info made it into the diary. Others said that they did know them, but couldn't think of anything worth sharing. And then someone asked me, why don't you just go ask your uncle? That was when I suddenly realized that at some point, I stopped being able to go straight to my uncle for answers. It was probably after Uncle Kai left Sweet Ma's and was about to move to Tainan. Grandma and Grandpa didn't want him to go and suspected that Uncle was influenced by bad friends. They didn't use the term patient, but Uncle was equivocating and couldn't explain exactly what sickness his friend had, why he needed to be nursed back to health at home, and why he had to move to Tainan. In the middle of the arguing, I demanded that Uncle take me to get soft drinks. On the way, Uncle thanked me for intentionally getting him out of the situation, and then he cried. I know that he cried, but I didn't ask him anything. I felt that if I asked, I'd have to shoulder a very big secret. I didn't know if I could shoulder it all the time. Uncle has always been like a father, like an older brother to me, taking care of me. I suddenly didn't know how to take care of him. I thought I had finals and had after-school lessons. I should be concentrating on my studies. uncle asked if I was doing okay at school. We never stood on ceremony, but all I said was, fine. That was the moment when I began lying to my uncle. It was so momentous having to face someone else's complex life. Can't we just buy that soft drink first? Or maybe it was just too hot out, or maybe I was just thinking about my shitty math grade, or about some annoying classmate who loved to show off. Either way, I didn't ask further. I didn't have the strength and could only pretend that he didn't cry. After that day, I could never be like I was before, when I was little and could say everything and anything to Uncle Kai.
5. Volunteer B tells the story of confrontation with Mrs. Chien at the park. Mrs. Chien, Volunteer B, Ma Mi, and Sweets stand facing one another in a park. Sweets carries a plastic bag. Ma Mi holds a pair of heels, one of which has its heel broken off. Volunteer B wears a pair of blue and white plastic flip-flops and holds a small clay jar. Mrs. Chien is extravagantly dressed. She's wearing socks, but no shoes. Junfan watches them.
My code name is Volunteer B. I have my own reasons for wanting to stay anonymous, so please don't mention my name. After Kai was promoted to team leader, they needed more people. I was writing my dissertation on related topics and was volunteering. There was a meeting regular, a patient called Mr. Chien. One day, Mr. Chien's wife suddenly approached us and threatened to sue. Originally, we were supposed to hash this out at a cafe, but apparently the owner of the cafe was on SARS quarantine or something. We were walking through the park looking for another cafe, and Mrs. Chien broke a heel. She said she hadn't worn those shoes in 10 years.
So, what now? Maybe we can talk right here?
Let me make introductions. This is Mr. Chien's wife. This is Sweets and Mommy, the guys you're looking for. Mrs. Chien just came to us to say she wants to sue you for intentionally spreading AIDS, committing adultery with her husband, and defrauding him. Is that correct?
He's got AIDS, not cirrhosis. Tell him not to lie anymore. I already know.
When Mr. Chien started coming to us, he was already very sick. And the money...
The money was just for the in-home nurse, which Mr. Chien was responsible for in the first place.
You are the ones who gave it to him, aren't you?
Your husband's condition is pretty severe. It's not even possible for him to do anything sexual right now.
What this homosexual disease?
No, this isn't just transmitted between same-sex...
So that's why he wanted to share a bed with me all these years. Great. I finally understand. This phone was foolproof of this sweet person hooking up and throwing sex parties even when he gets AIDS. I'll take it to the press.
What is she doing with your backup phone?
And to Mr. Chien.
Did you ask someone to bareback?
If we made arrangements ahead of time, sure.
Fuck, what do you think you're doing?
Can I borrow that?
Volunteer B hands over the clay jar he is carrying. Mrs. Chien sits on the jar.
You see my heels breaking, and I don't even know to find me a place to sit down? Really? What is this thing?
Just some radishes I pickled.
I'm taking these home.
The white jade radish from Maine is best for pickled radish.
I'll make a note of that next time.
Next time? I don't even want to see you again. Not even in my next life.
A ball rolls by. A passerby. Hey, could you get that for me? All four look towards the ball. Mommy goes to pick it up.
Mommy had a lot of problems with Sweets at that time. He thought Sweets was making trouble for everyone involved by indulging in his own selfish desires.
The passerby finally gets the ball back.
Thank you.
He exits.
My husband said that he got infected by cutting other people's hair. Is that true?
I don't know how he got infected, but it's impossible to be infected by hair cutting.
So he's just a gay?
So what if he is? Or isn't?
I want to sue you.
Oh.
500,000 new Taiwan dollars for emotional damages. Who knows if you gave it to my husband?
Don't provoke her. What if she goes to the police with my text messages?
So, what would that do?
Let's get a compromise with her, or I'll be in trouble.
Compromise. How?
Just go with the original theory. It said that Mr. Chien got it by cutting hair.
Or you could have kept your dick in your pants for once in your life.
Mrs. Chien, can I borrow that phone for just a second?
Is my husband gay?
I don't know.
Then why did he come to you? And to you, his little boyfriend?
We just met him at the hospital.
He's gay, isn't he? Oh, why wouldn't he share my bag?
Please stay calm. Mr. Chien's illness has nothing to do with these two.
Oh, yeah? Then I dare you test your virus. My lawyer said he can test your virus and see if it's the same as my husband's. Then they can tell if you give it to him. Do they test it? Don't worry. I've always suspected that he was a homo. People congratulate me for marrying such a handsome, sophisticated husband. But they don't know how bad he is in the bed.
During the conversation, a few people have started doing Tai Chi in the park.
I didn't know until later that all she wanted was to prove that her husband was gay. That way she has an excuse for why her husband wasn't interested in her sexually, why they had separate bedrooms. But even if that's so, it doesn't mean Mr. Chien was gay. When I said this to Mommy, he didn't want to hear it. He was really mad at Sweets.
So you want compromise with this woman?
It's not the first time this happened. There was someone I dated who threatened to go public with my condition if I tried to hook up with him.
Wow, really?
Yeah, if you're sick, you're an easy target for bullies, especially our kind of sickness.
Why have I never been threatened? Why is it always you? Isn't it because you're doing unethical things?
What did you say?
Tai Chi students.
Excuse me, we have group training here at this time. Can you move over to the side a little bit?
So should I carry you over there?
I can do it too.
I'll walk. I don't want you creasing up on my outfit. It's very expensive.
Auntie, do you always go out all dressed up and pretty like that?
I hardly even meet strangers. I'm not going to lose you in style. Of course. I need to dress up nice, even when you think I'm a crazy lady. I want to be a beautiful crazy lady. If you can tell that I look good in this outfit, you're probably not, right?
Volunteer B clumsily tries to help Mrs. Chien up.
We'll go put this in the compost pile first.
I helped Mrs. Chien over to a pagoda in the park, and Mommy called Mr. Chien at the hospital, trying to figure things out. Mr. Chien couldn't speak for more than a few sentences without losing his breath, but he begged on the phone.
Mr. Chien, please help me lie to her. I have kids and family. I can't embarrass them like that. I'm going to die soon. Please. He hangs up.
Just this time, do it for him.
It goes against everything we stand for to agree with her and say that you can get infected by cutting hair.
So you don't care what happens to me at all? If she leaks my text messages, anyone who's ever had sex with me could sue me for attempted murder, you know? from that damned Article 21.
So why do you have to sleep around so much? I thought you wanted to find someone long-term too.
It's not that easy. I'm not you.
So what? You're gonna agree with this kind of bull and add to the prejudice? Infected via haircut. That's as stupid as saying you get infected by touching blood on blood-soaked broken glass in a telephone booth. Yeah, especially from you.
So you want me to go to jail? Or get tied up in court for years? You know, I was the one who told Mr. Chien about the haircut excuse. If you don't want people to know, you need to make something up. This world never awarded anyone for being honest anyway.
Let's wait for them here.
No matter what, I'm still the woman who spent a lifetime with him. He bought so many different kinds of insurance for me and the kids. It used to be super cheap to do that. Now that our kids have grown up, he has his own life to live. If he had told me sooner, I would have done research for him and kept him from getting sick. We've been married for so long. I really don't want him to pass like this. So I'm digging.
Auntie, what if your husband isn't gay?
Why would he do this to me?
Mrs. Chien starts crying.
I think I might have opened a can of worms. Maybe no matter how old she got, Mrs. Chien couldn't understand why her man was never turned on by her. I knew that their marriage was mostly arranged. Mrs. Chien wasn't that attractive, and Mr. Chien was very handsome. I can't be sure what upset Mrs. Chien more, that her husband was dying, that her husband was gay, or that her husband wasn't gay, just never loved her.
Jun Fan reads from the diary.
Mr. Chen's death changed many things. I complained about sweets to Kai, but unbelievably, Kai took his side and said we should grant a dying man's wish and protect sweets from trouble. I couldn't understand the hypocrisy and complacency of Sweets and Kai. They convinced Mrs. Chien and Mr. Chien that Mr. Chien contracted AIDS by cutting hair, that Mr. Chien was innocent and deserves compassion, that he wasn't gay and wasn't sleeping with hookers either. Mrs. Chien went away satisfied, and I didn't speak to either of them for a month. Sweets never learned his lesson and was the same as ever. Then we had our first big fight.
Dark room, music, techno beats pumping, bodies clinging in abandonment and desire. Ma Mi drags Sweets out of the room while the abandonment and desire continue inside.
What? How many more Mrs. Chiens do you want to deal with? Why can't you have some self-control?
Why should I have to control myself?
Because we didn't establish this place so you can just arrange group fucks. What exactly do you think you're doing? Are you having a good time?
I'm not doing this to have a good time. I can't stop it.
Why do you want this kind of life?
I am just horny. Anything wrong with that?
What about the guy that you were like before?
Players will be players. Whether I'm sick or not, this is who I am. I want to change who I am just because I'm sick. I confessed to him and he left. Not everyone is lucky like you.
Well, as long as you're living this kind of life, you'll never find the right person.
What about you? How long can Kai stand this Puritan lifestyle you've adopted? You even wear condoms for blowjobs just because the doctor said so. What, are you eating plastic now?
Fuck you, who told you that?
Who else?
Why would he tell you about this?
I'm doing you a favor, right? You can't keep this going indefinitely, can you? Model couple.
Ma Mi punches Sweets.
Even if men contract a fatal illness and have one day to live, it wouldn't make their souls more noble. They are not Jesus. This is the first time Mommy mentioned Jesus in his diary.
A few people sit around singing hymns. A phone rings. Jun Fan gestures as though she's interviewing Sister Ma with the camera pointed at her. The camera separates them.
can't have found him with that name. He only uses his real name, Pao-Chang now. I'm his older sister. This was so long ago. I think you can ask my brother what he thinks about it right now. His old crowd has always painted him as a traitor, said he did them wrong, especially now he's with the church. But it's hard to say what's in store for someone who, throughout his life. It's not possible to always maintain the same identity and keep giving. Him and his friends from the past, they were together all the time, living amongst the same group. They were too tightly integrated and too full of emotional and romantic entanglements, to the point where even a good thing became bad. Couldn't you have concentrated on getting better from the disease and working and protesting when it's time to protest? Where do they get the strength and the time of the day to love and hate and vilify like that? But now he just smiles and says it's all in the past. But hey, I've always known that our Pao-Chang, no matter how you call his names, he wouldn't say anything. Pao-Chang is a very gentle spirit. When we were little, one day we were having dinner and a commercial came on TV about how African children were starving. So Pao-Chang took the food out of his bowl and put it in a cardboard box so he could send it to Africa and send it to the children. Nobody could reason him out of it until the grown-ups finally gave up and spanked him until he cried. Then he fished the food out of the box and ate it. Truly, that's how a good person he is from the beginning. Of course, we're all hurting for him when he kept meeting bad people. Your uncle had good manners at least, but the first one, the one who gave it to him, that one was such scum. I'm still mad thinking about it. Pao-Chang didn't dare tell us when he got sick because we're a religious family. He regrets that now. If he had known Jesus' love earlier, he wouldn't need to be afraid to tell us and wouldn't have suffered on his own for so long. And I always feel like I'm the one who made him sick. My family used to own a karaoke place, a garden style, with wood cabins and individual party rooms. There were some really good times. The food we served was famous in the nation. At our most prosperous, as soon as you get a party room, we serve you 3 piping hot Taiwanese stir-fried dishes and half a dozen beers on the house. It was extremely profitable for a while. And then local folks started using rooms like hourly motels, and rumors started flying. You know, when some people go to motels, people talk. If it's one married person, one single person, or one old one with youth, think of how bad it looks. I mean, at first we just pretended not to see things. It's not like we can interfere with what customers do in the privacy of the rooms, right? But young people stopped coming, and a holiday karaoke opened up. We hung out for a while, but eventually had to close. Really, no good can come when you condone bad things. After that, my parents started making pastries and selling them to the church near the old family home. And the church did order a lot from them. And Pao-Chang and I would go help out at the church when we went home for the weekend. The church truly put us back on our feet. Pao-Chang and I share a small studio in Taipei. We were not well off. When you live together, you're going to have some small tiffs.
Sister and mommy face off at a doorway.
Fine, I was supposed to buy toilet paper. I'll do it now.
It's always this late when I get home from work, and you always forget. What have you been doing? I thought midterms are done.
It's fine. It's fine. He says if your boyfriend's coming to see you, he can stay. I'll just go craft with some friends. It's just too much trouble.
What, is that an apology?
I have friends too.
Mommy leaves. A boy comes in and embraces sister. Mommy hears sounds of lovers next door. A woman.
So go mountain climbing. Go ahead. That's all you think about. Mountain climbing.
A man. What's wrong with mountain climbing? Why are you acting like I don't take home the dough?
Go ahead and take your parents too. Go and don't come back.
Noises of shoveling and pulling. Silence descends.
So you're not going?
There are mountains right at home. Why do I need to go so far to climb others? Dabajin Mountain, Jin Mountain, Mount Hehuan, Snow Mountain, Fire Mountain, ooh, Jade Mountain so high. You'll take the high road and I'll take the low road.
Oh, stop it, you fucker. Aren't we out of condoms?
Or maybe we should stop.
Okay, let's stop.
What's your hand doing?
So stop.
I thought you want to stop. What?
Fine, I'm not in the danger zone today. We'll get plan B tomorrow, like you're planning anyway, fucker.
As Mommy walks, the exaggerated noise of the couple's lovemaking follows him.
I think I was the one that got my brother sick. You see, if the holiday karaoke didn't open a branch in our town, and the family business didn't close, I wouldn't have needed to squeeze in that studio with him, and Taisheng wouldn't have gone to stay with his friends and known that guy. Hey, don't tell him I say these things. He'll only get upset if you ask him. You just say he didn't feel so beaten down at first. It's me talking about it that makes him feel like he's in a bad situation. I am so glad he's back on the right track now. It's not like we disagree with people being gay. We just disagree with their lifestyle.
What do you mean by the right track?
He came to me one day out of blue, came to the church. But before then, he would just call me every 2 or 3 months, but wouldn't talk about his life. I knew he was in a very bad mood that day before.
Sis.
Wow, hi, you're here. Such a rare occasion.
It's not that rare, is it?
How have you been? Busy at work?
Yeah, fine. Just wanted to come by and see how you're doing.
You want to chat after communion?
Mm-hmm.
Several people sit in a circle singing hymns. Mommy sits with them, reading messages between him and Kai. A message from Mommy.
What does model couple mean?
A message from Kai, not volunteer B.
What do you mean what it means?
You know.
Hey, that's not what I meant. It's just, there are things I can't even touch upon without you getting upset.
Yeah? Like what? What did you talk about that I can't know?
It's nothing, really.
Are you in love with him?
No.
Do you love me? Why did it take you so long to respond?
Look at you, pushing again.
No, I just want you to spell this out for me.
For some things, there's no way to be so crystal clear.
That just makes me feel unsettled.
I feel like I'm doing my best to accommodate you, but you're not doing the same.
What do you mean?
For example, sometimes I want you to come inside, or I want to swallow. You didn't need to wipe things down so aggressively like you're afraid.
You knew I was like this from the beginning.
Yes, and I do what you want me to do.
So go find someone normal.
That's not what I meant. I just think that if you're preoccupied with being afraid, it makes things less smooth.
I switched meds recently and the virus count is back up. You know that.
It's not just recently, and it's not just about sex.
So what is it?
I feel like I have to be all about you. Of course, it's what I signed up for, you know? Go to bed early, get up early, have a healthy lifestyle, and maintain a certain good image within your circle of friends.
So, It's your bad luck to have a boyfriend like me.
I'm not saying that. I just don't like it when you talk about me finding a normal person instead. Just the nuclear option and nothing else. This is who I am. Take it or leave it. No room for discussion at all.
So why do you go to Sweets?
Okay, I am sorry, but who else can I talk to but him? Should I grab a rando off the streets and out you?
Okay, you want to talk? Let's talk. You like hanging out with him?
That's not it.
What is it then?
I just need some air.
Sounds to me like you just need to have someone come in you.
I can't do this with you right now. I'm working. Just calm down a little.
Is it boring having sex with me?
Pause. In the music of the hymns, Ma Mi starts crying. The churchgoers hold Ma Mi's hands. Churchgoers. In the godly melodies, God shows us his pity and love. We have a new brother today who came in with the pain of this world. We know not of his pain, but the Almighty God knows. He will point the way for you. Amen. The singing stops. Sound of text messages. On stage, the scene is frozen.
Hello.
Kai's ex. Who's this?
I am Fang Yao Kai's boyfriend. Is this a good time? You may not remember this, but we ran into 2 or 3 years ago at a nightclub. You were on duty.
Oh, yes, I ran into Yao Kai that day. What is it?
Do Kai's relationships tend to overlap?
Why is it so easy for regular people to stay together for the rest of their lives, and so hard for gay people? Why must they have so much sex? Is it for to prove their popularity? I think Ma Tai-Cheng was just interested in loving one person and being with him. Well, I'll never understand these things. I have a feeling being in that circle brought him a lot of pain. I try to make it up to him as much as I can, since he was so distant for such a long time. Anyway.
But what if gay people and patients can be like others and not seem differently when they fall in love, get married, break up, and get sick? Maybe things between my uncle and Uncle Ma would have been different. It's just something I was thinking about. I haven't talked to my uncle about it or anything.
I don't know. I can only consider things from my brother's point of view. My brother didn't do anyone wrong. And just because he has the same sickness as these people doesn't mean he has to be around them forever. You know how when someone is hurt, especially relationship-wise, they get out of control from time to time, and he's lost all his friends because of it. He's learned his lesson. But there's one thing I have to ask you about. When my family was nearly bankrupt, when Ma Tai-Cheng was in so much pain, it was our brothers and sisters at church who stood up next to us, not any one of his gay friends from the past. It's okay. He had to pick a side eventually. He blew up with his friends, and I knew about it. I don't blame anyone, and Tai-Cheng just broke away from them completely. Here, use this email. You can reach him this way.
Thank you.
Thank you for speaking to him.
Oh, why thank me?
It's good to know he's still remembered by friends from the past.
I could never forget him.
The scene changes, morphing into Sweet Ma's at the police raid. A few men are being jerked around by the police.
The last day of Sweet Ma's, I was there, and so were a bunch of cops.
End of excerpt.
we're gonna move right away to the panel in case you have to go or have another place to go. This is a good time now, so we're thrilled that you came. But if you want to stay to hear from the playwrights and from our panelists, please do so. Yeah, why not? We'll just use the table. Maybe you all take a mic. Is this on? Yes, this is not only that that you hear us better, but also will be recorded. This is why we have this, and we have still a moment of time to take some questions. Also, please speak into the mic. So first of all, I think thank you, a big thank you to the writers coming over, for the director also for directing this, what Knud did, and congratulations. So I think another round of applause. So as you could see, these were just excerpts, one of the search, most of identities and artificial intelligence and emails and the shelter that's been broken up. And before we come to our artists, maybe a question to Jim, who's here also a professor at the Graduate Center CUNY and who has monitored and written and researched the scene here, perhaps a bit more in the Western world. What comes to your mind? Where does that fit in when you hear those plays?
Well, first of all, I also want to congratulate you. I thought the plays were really terrific, really interesting ideas. I loved the way that you dealt with desire, politics, identity, family, really stimulating. A couple of things that came to my mind while I was watching these. The first thing was the importance of seeing gay lives on stage. I don't know if you followed, but even in the 21st century, having gay issues and gay lives presented on stage can be considered dangerous and corruptible. In Hungary, just this past week, a Broadway musical that had originated in London, played Broadway, had gotten a production in Budapest. Billy Elliot came under fire from the homophobic government, and it was closed. And if you've seen Billy Elliot, it was considered a family musical, but there is a gay character in it, and I saw the production 2 years ago when they had completely whitewashed much of the gay material, but it was closed essentially because there was a belief that it could turn children gay, was the response to it. So I think it's very important that we see these stories presented. The other thing that came to my mind while I was watching this, I see a lot of theater. I see a good deal of queer theater, not to discount the experimental queer theater in New York, which there is a good deal, and there are places like La Mama. We saw Taylor Mack represented in the introduction, and Dixon Place has the Hot Festival coming up, so there will be some really interesting experimental theater. But I was just thinking about the current queer theater offerings. If you were to choose a LGBT play tonight, these would be your primary choices. You could see a wonderful, don't get me wrong, wonderful production of Angels in America, which is now 25 years old. You can also see a terrific production of The Boys of Band, which was from 1968 and at the time was considered quite radical. So there's a good deal of nostalgia around queer theater now. And just moving a little bit off Broadway, a couple of plays I saw in the last week. There's a play called Skin Tight, in which explores a family reaction to a 70-year-old man having a relationship with a 20-year-old man. And there's a play that opened last night called Log Cabin, which looks at some of the contemporary issues of what it means to be gay or lesbian in 2018 after the marriage laws have passed. One of the things that I also want to point out, I won't take any more time, these are all by white men, which I think is pretty typical. So I applaud Taiwan for these wonderful progressive politics, but don't let your theater become boring as it has become here in terms of our queer theater. So I will end with that just to say, as I mentioned earlier, that it was really just very exciting to see this stimulating work that really challenges us in ways I don't think gay theater is at this point.
Yeah, thank you, and for sure it is not boring and very contemporary. Maybe Li-Ying, tell us a bit, how does it feel to hear an excerpt from your work about the shelter that was closed, and how does it feel to hear it here on stage?
Okay, I speak in Chinese, okay, and he will translate for me. Okay. 我觉得，一开始读剧的时候会，当时脑中会出现之前演出的画面了，然后，同时也会在想说，其实当时我是基于一个台湾的情境，然后也在好奇说，转译成一个语言的时候有没有办法传达我原本想要传达的东西。但我觉得其实他们就是其实。我觉得他们表现得还蛮好的，然后其实导演也有去处理关于就是同时在做纪录片跟过去的这个交错的这个现场的处理，所以我就觉得就是其实看的时候会觉得他们用很简单的方式，然后去做那个呈现。Sorry, too long.
Hello. So in the beginning, she was instantly recalling the production that was in Taiwan, and she started to think about, this play was highly emphasis on the Taiwanese scenario in the gay culture, and she was wondering if during the process of translating the entire play, we will lose the very idea of this play that tries to convey. However, she thought the actors and the director did a pretty good job at presenting the essence of the play, especially the way to play in between the past and the present, the documentary and the reality. She thought it was pretty well done.
Any more?
然后因为就自己觉得说刚好受纽文的这个邀请来做一个读剧是非常非常怎么说，是对我来说是一件很有意义的事情，因为这个剧本跟这个演出是拿到两厅院的赞助的一个田野调查的计划。然后原本一开始的构想是，因为大家能知道戏剧界只要是做艾滋的很难不受美国天使的影响。一开始的目的也是想要做台湾版的美国天使，但是因为我访问的人其实都还活着，所以就是他们都还没死，所以我想说，那我就舍不得把他们写死了，所以就是会有这个演出也是好奇于说，就是因为我的朋友是相异伴侣，就是他跟有感染的人交往，然后就是但他可以给他父母看的影视的作品，就是都是会死的人，这样可能是平常心或者是美国天使。
Let him translate it.
Okay. So, and then she felt very honored to be invited by the Taipei Cultural Center to present this stage reading. She thought it was very meaningful, mainly because the very first production in Taiwan was fully funded by the government, the National Theater. So she then talks about the concept of writing this play. At first, she was thinking about maybe she can do something that was pretty much like Angels in America, because in Taiwanese theater, we have been highly influenced by the American theater. So she was thinking about maybe she should do that. However, when she was doing a lot of research on this production, she was thinking, well, these people are still alive. These people that are affected are still alive. She doesn't want to write a story about an AIDS patient being dead. So she instead chose to focus on this production and then create this production. And then she also talked about her friend who is actually dating an HIV positive partner. And she said that according to his friend, he actually had a hard time choosing what kind of TV shows or what kind of performing arts to show to his parents, because a lot of times, like the show Normal Heart or Angels in America, we oftentimes talk about the death that was caused by AIDS.
Thank you. So maybe we come back to you later. So we go to Pao-Chang, and how did it feel for you to perform your work? You have to close here.
Ura. It's actually my first time doing a stage reading of this play. This play was first performed in Edinburgh Fringe Festival in 2016, and we've been doing the shows for quite a few times. And but in my theater career, I've never done any stage reading, so I was actually very, very excited. And I'm so lucky and so blessed to have Soriya as a dramaturg to help me out to sort out all these things. I would like to ask all of you, because I couldn't speak for myself. I'm trying to find a balance. I mean, technically, trying to find a balance in stage reading, not to give out too much, to leave some space for the audience to come in. It's very philosophical thoughts, but I actually don't know how it works, but I truly enjoyed it, so I hope you did as well. Yeah.
Tell us a bit about the idea of the artificial intelligence and the hidden worlds and the identity. What was your inspiration, and what are you struggling with for writing the play?
I'm actually a theater director who hates multimedia very much, using that elements in my work, because I'm always afraid that it would take the warmth of the theater or the authenticity of theater. But this project was sort of like commissioned by a project called QA in Taipei, and the bottom line is that you have to write a play collaborating with any forms of multimedia. So my first idea was actually trying to find any experience in my personal life that has something to do with that. And interestingly, I realized a fact that I actually like to talk to machines a lot than real people. I actually don't like real people. No, I'm actually, thank you. I actually feel a lot more comfortable leaving voice messages to my friends, and I always do that until one day a friend of mine told me, stop sending me voice messages. Why can't you just give me a call and just talk to me? And I was like, okay, so a lot of people don't like it. Interesting. And why do I like it so much? What am I afraid of? This real connection with people. Why do I enjoy voice message so much? So I started from here, it's starting point, and to think, oh, what happened with us, our generation in this world? Maybe technology, as we all know, doesn't really brought it we closer most of the time we're more alienated than each other. So I got this idea here. I want to write something about being in love with a machine or talking a lot with a machine, because it happens and I can certainly identify that to it. So I start from that. And then another idea came in, that is, I was really intrigued by a tagline by a movie or something. It says, how do you live without someone you love? And I feel strongly about this tagline because we all have this experience. And take myself, for example, I was brought up by my grandmother mostly, so we are very close, and I miss her all the time very much. And in Taiwan, we have this Taoist ritual we call Guan Luo Ying. You can actually practice this ritual, and then we believe that, actually I've never done that, but I'm very intrigued by that ceremony, so I did some research, and it says through the ritual you can actually go to the underworld to meet someone. Someone who has left. So I decided to combine these two things together because I believe that when we can't find answers through religion, we seek for help from the technology and vice versa. So I think these two things can be really interesting to mingle with. Mm-hmm. So that's how I started to this.
Yeah, Bruce, thank you. And Li-Ying, we come back to you. Soriya, as a dramaturg, you worked on the play. What were challenges to adapt it for a New York audience? Is it a New York play?
Sure.
Anyway, and how was that in cutting it down?
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of the biggest challenges, of course, I had the privilege of watching some clips of the full-fledged, production, and I saw that technology figured quite in a big way into kind of the craft of the play, as you see it on the stage, and I knew that it was important that we incorporate some technology in the telling of the story, and one of the first things that we had a conversation about, Pao and I, was how can we really, really kind of use technology in a really, really kind of effective way to tell the story and really, really kind of highlight some key moments. And so that was a challenge. And I think that also, the story, I think that it's a universal story in a lot of ways, in that it's a story about love, and it's a story about longing, and it's a story about death, it's a story about sexuality. And so I think that it is, it could very well play to an American audience, because a lot of American plays by American writers deal with those themes in their works. It was just a real privilege to be able to work on this piece with Pao.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Before we go to Knud about directing, maybe Li-Ying, one more question. Tell us a bit about the inspiration for the shelter. What was your technique? How did you do interviews, or did you imagine it? What was the idea, the inspiration, and how did you create the play?
因为我是访谈很多人，所以它其实是一个访谈的形式，然后这变成他是在拍纪录片，然后他同时因为他拍纪录片，因为我们演出现场是有用那个现场的投影，所以其实纪录片这个形式也可以不断穿梭过去跟现在，因为它的场景跟时间跨度有点大，基本上集中在90年代末到00年初期的台北，对，然后你先翻好了。
She conducted a lot of interviews with a lot of people. That's why in the very first production, you will be able to see the documentary as the format for this entire production, and you will be able to see the projection, and then that projection actually helps to, going back and forth, the past and the present. And the story is actually starting from late 1990s to early 2000s.
然后因为他其实谈论的是比方说你自己对自己的回忆，就你自己认为重要的事情，或许别人已经认为不重要了。就是基本上，因为我们的回忆并不是一个非常非常确定的事情，所以然后就因为是要去谈一个每个人这个人可能会去回避的一个过去，所以是使用一个这样纪录片的一个形式。其实我本来是要说这个结构是从一个秘鲁的小说家来的，但我觉得你可能不知道怎么翻那个小说家，我想就算了。是一个09年的诺贝尔得主，他叫略萨，因为我也不知道他的名字怎么讲。对，可能有看过他吗？秘鲁的小说家略萨。OK， 好，没关系。好，你说。
So she wants to talk about how one person recollects his memory through this production. Oftentimes when we try to recall our own memories, we will recall something that can be very important to us, but not necessarily to other people. And oftentimes we also avoid certain things. And that is why she adapted this idea of using the documentary. And she was also talking about the inspiration from, in terms of the structure of the entire production, she was talking about the inspiration from a Peruvian novelist who won the Nobel Prize in year 2009. And we don't know how to translate his name, unfortunately.
Vargas Llosa, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And Knud, what were the challenges in directing, immorally asking to do a 30 minutes anyway, but so how did you see the work?
It was the challenge, I think, was for me what I do year round is as a director of new work here in the city, I work hand in hand with playwrights, and they're almost always in the room with me, and we're sort of exploring together. And this was a fun challenge in that it was. I felt like there were several acts of translation happening where, the play newly translated to English, me selecting an excerpt of that play is a sort of an act of translation or a lens of editing, and then working with actors for a brief 4 hours today, trying to interpret it or give it a little life, a little suggestion of what the play promises in production. And then finally, the reading format itself, a play reading, is already a sort of a transformation of media and of expression, and trying to hint at the fullness of the play, which is has a media component, has a really vast canopy of a canvas of characters, of realities in and out of time. It's ambitious and sprawling, and has a great size of story. So trying to capture that fullness of narrative through these various steps of translation with our tremendous actors who were kind enough to give their time today was a fun challenge for me.
Thank you, and I think we got a feeling for that place where that all happened. You a part of comparative literature world. How does this literature we heard, other words, how do they compare to adaptation, to translation, and is it successful?
Compare these two plays. But I think from Poe's Solo Day it somehow speak to Li-Ying's work, The Possible Memoirs of Mamie, because they both touch on certain kind of issue on adaptation and also translation, transcultural media, and also this kind of transmedia interplay. You see this kind of idea when Poe's work is obviously made for translation. He has this idea of a global audience in mind. So you can see he play with different kind of mediums and languages. He switched between four different languages: Taiwanese,